Good Sunday morning, August 8th, 2021. Ken Arzone here in Vista, California. Continuing my episode guide, Baseball Hall of Famers, their remarkable achievements of stats, accomplishments. I've been analyzing certain aspects of the game, looking at the numbers. Numbers can tell you a lot of things in baseball because it's a numbers game, right? So this episode, there are 32 players, I believe there is, right? Presently, there are 32 players that have 3,000 or more hits out of 15,000 that have played baseball. Only 32. How about that? And two of them went over 4,000 hits. How about that? We know Pete Rose, 4,256, and Ty Cobb, 4,189. The other 30 passed 3,000. There was one guy a couple guys came close to 3,000, but stopped playing. Why? Sam Rice had 2,987 hits, 13 hits shy, and he stops playing. That was Sam Rice. And then Sam Crawford was 2,961. He was 39 short, and he stopped. Frank Robinson was 57 short. He stopped. Jake Beckley, 62 short, and he stopped. You know, if I was a Major League ball player, I would keep playing for that 3,000 hit, even if I was playing on one leg. Wouldn't you? If you pass 2,900 hits, I mean, Al Simmons, Roger Hornsby, Willie Keeler, Jack Beckley, Frank Robinson, Sam Crawford, and Sam Rice all passed 2,900 hits, but they stopped playing. I don't get it. Anyways, I told you there were 32 players that have 3,000 hits, but you have to subtract 5 of them because they're not in the Hall of Fame. But I'm going to cover one guy who's not in the Hall of Fame who should be, and it's a highway robbery that he's not, Pete Rose. I think it's so unfair. I mean, his stats are mind-boggling. 24-year career, 4,256 hits. He got them legitimately. He's not in the Hall of Fame. I don't get it. Maybe one day he will be. But these other guys either are still playing or their stats are in question or they're not elected to the Hall of Fame yet. I'm not going to mention them by name. I think you know who they are. So I want to focus on the positive. So I'm going to focus on 27 players who got 3,000 hits. But here's what I want to do. I want to see how fast they did it. Who ranks number 1 as the fastest player in Major League history to accumulate 3,000 hits? And what's the order as far as how many games it took them to do it? Do you know who the fastest player in Major League history in the least amount of games to get 3,000 hits? You should know. A guy named Ty Cobb did it, and he got his 3,000th hit in his 2,135 games, a record that won't be broken. 2,135 games, and he got his 3,000th hit. Of course, he went on to play 3,000 games and got 4,189 total. Who's number 2? Do you know who number 2 is? The fastest to 3,000 in the shortest amount of games? Cap Hansen. 2,180 games. He got his 3,000th hit. So Cobb beats him by about, what would you say? 35, 40 games. 45 games. Cobb did it in 45 games and less than Cap Hansen. Who's number 3? Nap Lajoie. 2,237 games. He got his 3,000th hit. Who's number 4? Tony Gwynn. 2,284th game, he got his 3,000th hit. Way to go, Tony. I saw him play. Got a photo of him in my album. My kids. We were at a photo day on I think it was a Sunday game, day game. Maybe Saturday or Sunday game, day game. It was at Qualcomm Stadium in San Diego, California. We were in the outfield, and Tony Gwynn was out there. And he came over to where the stands are, so he's close to the fans. And everybody was snapping pictures, so I had my kids next to the railing and Gwynn in the background. We got a picture of him. And he's the 4th fastest player to get 3,000 hits in a certain amount of games played. Number 5, fastest to 3,000 in the amount of games they played. Stan Musial, 2,301. 6, Paul Waner. He got 3,000 hits in his 2,315th game. Next, Honus Wagner. 2,334th game. He got his 3,000th hit. 8 on the list. Tris Speaker. 2,344 games. He got his 3,000th hit. 9 on the list, Derek Jeter. How about that? 2,362 games. He got his 3,000th hit. 10th on the list, Pete Rose. 2,370th game. He got his 3,000th hit. 11, Paul Molitor. 2,411 games. 12, Rod Carew, 2,416th game. 13 on the list, Wade Boggs, 2,430th game. 14 on the list, Roberto Clemente, 2,432nd game for his 3,000th hit. 15, Ichiro Suzuki, 2,452nd game. Next, Henry Aaron, 16th on the list, 2,460th game. 17th on the list, Eddie Collins, his 2,550th game. Next, George Brett, 2,559th game. Next, Lou Brock, 2,586th game. Next on the list, Willie Mays, 2,639th game. Next, Robin Yount, 2,708th game. Next on the list, Eddie Murray, 2,764th game. Next, Craig Biggio, 2,781st game. Next, Cal Ripken, 2,800th game. Next, Al Kaline, 2,827th game. Next, Dave Winfield, 2,840th game. Next, Carl Yastrzemski, 2,851st game. And then last, Ricky Henderson, 2,979th game to get his 3,000th hit. What do you think of that list? The fastest player to get his 3,000th hit in the least amount of games, Ty Cobb, 2,135 games. Will there ever be another player like him? Absolutely incredible. So I'll list these players again, all right? I'll list the player and the hits, but this is the order, the fastest to 3,000. Cobb, 4,189 hits. Cap Hansen, 3,435 hits. Nap Lajoie, 3,243 hits. That's what he finished with. Tony Gwynn, 3,141. Stan Musial, 3,630 hits. Paul Wainer, 3,152. Honus Wagner, 3,420 hits. Chris Speaker, 3,514 hits. Derek Jeter, 3,465 hits. Pete Rose, 4,256. Paul Molitor, 3,319 hits. Rod Carew, 3,053. Wade Boggs, 3,010. Roberto Clemente, 3,000 exactly. Ichiro Suzuki, 3,089. Henry Aaron, 3,771. Eddie Collins, 3,315. George Brett, 3,154. Lou Brock, 3,023. Willie Mays, 3,293. Robin Yount, 3,142. Eddie Murray, 3,255. Craig Biggio, 3,060. Cal Ripken, 3,184. Al Kaline, 3,007. Dave Winfield, 3,010. Carl Yastrzemski, 3,419. And Ricky Henderson, 3,055 hits. How about this analysis? Take this into consideration. Since Cobb was the fastest, and he's number 2 on the all-time list, see, it took Cobb 2,135 games to get to 3,000, then he ends up with 4,189. But Pete Rose beats him in hits with 4,256. But it took Rose, according to this list, I'll do the math, 2370, 2135. It took Rose 235 more games to reach 3,000. Who's a better hitter? Ty Cobb's a better hitter than Pete Rose. Okay? Now Hansen. See, Hansen on the all-time list is number 7. Yet it took him 2,180 games to do it. But he's number 7 in hits. Where would you rank him as far as the greatest hitter of all time? That's an interesting question. If it took him, if he's number 2 as far as getting to 3,000 hits, yet he's 7th all time in hits as far as the rank, is he a better hitter than some of these other guys? Well, Nap Lajoie, he's number 3, 2,237 games, but he is number 15 on the list as far as total hits. So you got to put Cap Hansen better than Nap Lajoie. See, Gwynn, he got 2,284 games to get his 3,000 hits. He's number 4, but Tony is ranked 21st on total number of hits. because he only played the 20 years, whereas some of these other guys played those extra years. Cap Hansen, how many years did he play? I see I can do this real quick. Cap Hansen, how many years? 27 years. So here's the question. Who's a better hitter? Cap Hansen or Tony Gwynn? If Tony played 20 years, and yet he's 17th on the he's 21st on the list of hits, but yet he's number 4 ranked as far as getting 3,000 hits. Who's a better hitter? Tony Gwynn or Cap Hansen? Cap Hansen took 7 more years to get another 300 hits more than Gwynn. Tony Gwynn plays 7 more hits, and at the pace he's going, you got to put Tony Gwynn ahead of Cap Hansen as far as hitting. Now, Stan Musial, it took him 2,000, he's number 5. It took him 2,301 games to get his 3,000th hit, but he ended up number 4 on the list of ranking with 3,630 hits. But how many years does Stan Musial play? See, he played 22, extra 2 more years. Here's what I'm going to do. Since Gwynn is number 4 to the hits and he only played 20 years, Cobb played 24 years, but he ended up with 4,189. So you got to say that Cobb is number 1. That's the best hitter of all time. As far as number 2, since Cap Hansen played 27 years, you can't put him number 2, even though he's you can't put him the second best hitter of all time, because he ended up with 3,435 hits, but took 27 years, even though he was number 2 in getting to 3,000 hits, the fastest to do it. I don't know. And Nap Lajoie, see his rank. See, Nap is number 15. I wish he had more hits, even though he's the 3rd fastest to 3,000. Stan Musial is the 5th fastest, and then he ended up with more hits, 22 years. As far as the best hitters of all time, I'm going to put Cobb and then Tony Gwynn and then Stan Musial. Okay, the top 3. Who else would be there? See, with Pete Rose, even though he's number 1 in hits, he's number 10 as far as fastest. Tris Speaker, he's an interesting guy because he's number 5 on the list, and yet he's number 8 as far as the fastest. See, Henry Aaron's number 3 on total hits, 3,771, but he's ranked 16th as far as how fast he got there. Are you following me? See, how fast you got to 3,000 indicates, in a certain amount of games, indicates how good of a hitter you are. Even though Cap Hansen did it 2nd fastest, I don't know if I would put him ahead of Tony Gwynn. Would you? And Nap Lajoie? Because Hansen, he's ranked number 7th, and Nap Lajoie is ranked number 15. Where Gwynn is ranked number 21, but because total hits, but Gwynn stopped. How long did Nap Lajoie, how many years did he play? 21 years. He's got that extra year on Gwynn. See, Gwynn stopped at 20 years. Hampson, 27 years. Lajoie, 21 years. Musial, 22. See, and then you got Derek Jeter, but it took Jeter. See, where's Jeter on the list here? He's number 9. as far as fastest, but he's ranked number 6 as far as total hits. How do you determine who's the best hitter of all time? This is really hard. I'm doing the metrics of 3,000 hits and how fast it and how many games it took them and who did it in the quickest number of games to get to the 3,000 hit. We've already settled the question. Ty Cobb is number 1 as far as the best hitter of all time. But as far as 2, 3, 4, and 5, I'm having a hard time here analyzing this. I would put Tony Gwynn the second best hitter of all time. Is that bias? What do you think? I mean, Pete Rose, but it took him too long to do it. But he's a great hitter. See, Lajoie, Nap Lajoie? Maybe you can put Nap Lajoie number 3 as far as the best hitter of all time. See, how about, Hornsby? We can't put even though Hornsby has the second best average of all time, 358, he didn't get to 3,000 hits. He got 2930, and he batted over 400 3 times. Would you say he's the best hitter of all time? I'm doing it according to 3,000 hits. Who's the best 3,000 hit member? Okay, that's what I'm doing right here. As far as we want to debate who's the best hitter of all time, I mean, Ted Williams is in there, but he didn't get to 3,000 hits. So I'm analyzing this according to 3,000 hits, all right? So these other guys that you want to argue about, they're not in the 3,000 hit club. All right, let's pose it this way. Who's the best hitter of all time who's a member of the 3,000 plus hit club? All right, you want to settle it that way? So you could take Ted Williams out and Roger Hornsby out and some of the other guys out. I mean, Willie Keeler, he would be in there. Sam Crawford, some of these other guys, right? Zach Wheat, Frankie Frisch, Al Simmons, Babe Ruth. We've settled the question. Babe Ruth is the best home run hitter of all time, but not the best hitter of all time. He's the best home run hitter, and he's the best baseball player of all time. But we're focusing right now as far as a ball player, a hitter, swinging the bat. Cobb 1, Gwynn 2. You know what? I'm going to put Nap Lajoie number 3. And then you know who I'm going to put number 4? He's a member of the 3,000 hit club. See, Aaron, even though Aaron is number 3 in hits, it took him, he's 16th on the list as far as getting to 3,000 hit in a number of games. But you know who's number 5 as far as getting the quickest to 3,000 hits? And he's also number 4 as total hits. So I want to put Stan Musial, the 4th best hitter of the 3,000 hit club. And then who's number 5? Well, you got Paul Waner. He's number 6 as far as the fastest. But Paul Waner only ended up, where is Paul Waner? He's number 19 on the list, and he's a 20-year guy. Number 7 on the as far as the fastest would be Honus Wagner, and Wagner's number 8 on the list. You got to put Honus Wagner number 8 or number 5. That would be the top 5. Cobb, Gwynn, Nap Lajoie, Stan Musial, and Honus Wagner. The top 5 greatest hitters of the 3,000 hit club who proved it by getting to 3,000 hits in the least amount of games. Following me along? I know the analysis is hard. What about Tris Speaker? Speaker, he would be number 6 because he was the 8th fastest to 3,000, and yet on this list, he's number 5 in total hits, 3,514. I got to do a top 10, all right. So, Cobb 1, Gwynn 2, Lajoie, 3. Musial, Stan Musial, 4. Wagner, number 5. Tris Speaker, I'll put him number 6. So I've got 7, 8, 9, and 10. 4 more players. All right. Camp Hansen, he's the second fastest, and he's number 7 on the list. Let's put Hansen number 7. Let's see. We got to put Paul Wainer in there because he was number 6 as far as fastest, and yet he's way down, but he only played 20 years. So put Wainer 8th. Cobb, Gwynn, Lajoie, Musial, Wainer. Speaker, Hansen, Wagner. Oh, yeah. Cobb, Gwynn, Lajoie, Musial, Wagner. Speaker, Hansen, Wainer. All right. Jeter is number 9 as far as the fastest, and Jeter would be number 6 here. We got to put Jeter number 9. See, Jeter played 20 years, and yet he got 34.65. Boy, I didn't realize it, but when I was watching Jeter on television, he's in the top 10 as far as the greatest hitters of all time. Who would you put number 10? Well, Pete Rose. We'll put Pete Rose number 10 because he has the most hits, but it took him the 10th fastest to do it. What do you think? Top 10. Do you agree or disagree? Members of the 3,000 Hit Club, the fastest to get 3,000 hits in a certain amount of games, least amount of games. Cobb, 2,135 games. Hansen, Cap Hansen, 2,180. Lajoie, 2,237. Gwynn, 2,284. Musial, 2,301. Paul Wainer, 2,315. Honus Wagner, 2,034. Speaker, Tris Speaker, 2,044. Jeter, 2,362. And Pete Rose, 2,370. But as far as my ranking, I'm going to go Cobb, Gwynn, Lajoie, Musial, Wagner, Speaker, Hansen, Wainer, Jeter, and Rose. Now you may say heresy. Jeter above Rose? Well, he did it in faster time than Rose. And he's number 6 on the list as far as total hits, even though Rose is number 1. Should I alter that? Should I put Rose then Jeter? I think I should because Rose got more hits. I'm adjusting it. Nothing against you, Derek Jeter. But Rose did beat you in hits. But you beat him by only 8 games as far as 3,000 hits. But as far as total hits, well, look at this. Rose played an extra 4 years. Jeter ended up with 34.65. If Jeter plays another, let's say he averages 100, let's say 600 more hits, he still wouldn't catch Rose because he would be at around 4,000 hits if he played 24 years, Derek Jeter. So Rose beats him. That's why Rose is number 9. All right. See, the reason why Rose is not higher is because he's 10th on the list as far as fastest to 3,000. Even though he's number 1 in hits. Following me? All right, I'll end this video by saying it this way. Ty Cobb, the fastest to 3,000 hits in the shortest amount of games. So he's number 1. Tony Gwynn was number 4 as far as to the fastest. But he played 4 less years than Ty Cobb. So I got Gwynn number 2 as far as the best hitter of the 3,000 hit club. Then Nap Lajoie, he played how many years for Nap Lajoie? Where are you, Nap? 21 years, played an extra year. That's why I've got him number 3 below Gwynn. 4 would be Stan Musial. He played 22 years, but he's the 5th fastest. Then I got Honus Wagner because he's number 8 on total hits, and he's number 7 as far as the fastest. Then I got Tris Speaker because he's number 5 in total hits, but he's number 8 as far as the fastest. Then I've got Camp Hansen, even though he's number 2 as far as the fastest, and he's number 7 as far as total hits, he played 27 years. So that's why I've got him down there. Paul Waner, he's number 19 as far as total hits, but he's number 7 as far as the fastest. Then I've got Pete Rose, number 9. He's number 10 as far as the fastest, and he's number 1 as far as total hits. And then I got Derek Jeter. He's number 9 as far as the fastest, but he's number 6 as far as total hits. Following me? I know it's a lot of numbers, but it's analyzing. And that's how I came up with it. What do you think? All right, thanks for watching this video. My next one will be on total bases. I want to see the percentage of how many bases a guy averaged per games played. We'll see how that video goes. Thanks for watching, and I'm out on this one.